It's a new year, yes it is. Did you really think I'd let this one go? It's the first of the year. And since I ended the year with an indie, I might as well start it with an indie. This game is a doozy, and I mean that wholeheartedly. But instead of me ranting about how good it is, I'll just show you. Let's adventure through the depths of London in this rodent-based RPG, Small Saga. A bit of a miss on the title, but you know what? It shouldn't dissuade you from the actual game itself. Even the main menu is such a vibe. Look at him. Look at the fella. Who's he? That's Lance's little brother. Verm. Yeah, that's right. Verm as in vermin. Yeah. So if you can't tell by now, Lance serves as a tutorial guide. This game is a turn-based RPG, so it does matter which moves you use at certain times. You don't want to get caught with your pants down, because if you're out of energy, those little squares that you see, you're fucked. Especially if you're trying to heal. Just to avoid spoilers, I will end up skipping some of the parts just to make sure that we just get through everything. I don't want to spoil the story. The story is to die for. You literally have to just play it. Just trust me on that one. Just because it's something that you just want to experience, I don't want to take that away. Each character has their own little story, and it is just the cherry on top to this game. After the events of the tutorial, a major time skip happens where you end up losing your sword, but you end up taking a switchblade that you find from the very beginning of the tutorial. So 1-for-1 upgrades to your weaponry is pretty good up until you get murked by this cat, in which case you'll then find your second party member who saves you from getting absolutely shredded by the cat. She is Siobhan. At least that's, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not actually sure. I looked it up. It's an Irish name. I have no idea. But she is just the most precious little thing on this fucking game. She's rather goddamn smart with some things, but she's a little dopey sometimes whenever she's trying to get out of some high place. She almost always ends up face planting onto the ground. I forgot to mention that this game kind of runs off of a D&D type like archetype for the characters. So like Verm is, I guess, the barbarian, and then Siobhan is the mage, and then we'll get to another character. We end up flying. This game has a little bit of a fast travel, but it's a little bit weird since the fast travel is a fucking carrier pigeon. The carrier pigeon is called Dizzy. He's awesome. He has a sick ass like groovy theme, but it seems that Siobhan can't take the motion sickness from being in the air too long because, you know, she's a mole. In any case, we go to Rat City, Rat City, bitch. No, all right, whatever. Where we have to sneak our way in and find ourselves with our third party member, Bruce the Squirrel. Bruce is the bard. He doesn't fight. What a bastard. But he does lay out some sick ass tunes using that pencil flute. So I mean, I guess. Nah, but in all seriousness, he does end up being a rather essential part of the team. Did I mention that he's Anton is Bruce's significant other. They play the lute, and I think they're a hamster. Anyway, Bruce and Anton decide to play for some communist motherfuckers and end up in jail. That's where we find our cellmate and also fourth party member, Gwen the albino rat, I think. They call her a dragon, but the only thing she's dragging is these nuts. She's cool as fuck, dude. She's got that little like half cloak thing. Her legs are prosthetics. So, team fully assembled. What do we got? We got a barbarian, we got a wizard, we got a bard, and we got a fighter. Each of them with their own unique skill trees and a whole lot of personality. And if you're starting to question what the point of this game is, it's vengeance. Vengeance is what brings us to the spoiler part of this video. So if you have any intentions at all of playing this game, go buy it right now. Stop watching this video. I don't care. I'd rather you play it all the way through and then come back. I will say that about this game, it's not difficult, but it's not easy either. It is a very good mix. It kind of struck that in-between point that most games can't seem to get. Even in the late game, it still has me on the ropes. That is something I did not expect. So without further ado, I will fully gush about this game. I'm not much of an explorer and I'm not much of a fighter, but I love music. I just fucking love it. It is amazing what they were able to do with such a simplistic game. It is just top notch. One track specifically always rings out to me. The part where Gwen goes back to Whitehall and fights one of the lab members. It is one of the times where you actually feel dread. It makes the scenario so much more dramatic because of the fact that humans in this game are called gods. You are literally fighting a god, and I don't know what's more hardcore than that. And that's like the tip of the iceberg for some of the stuff. The game itself has more references than I could probably think of. Two of the bosses that you fight against, I think one more than the other, are references to Metal Gear. This one is literally just called Rex, and then the Plague Master uses his tail and floats up like Psycho Mantis. Not to mention, it's the only fight with a fucking timer. I almost didn't make it, but because I am the god gamer that I am, I made it just in time. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I had loads of time. Oh, and another thing about that Metal Gear reference, I could have sworn I heard a tiny smidgen of some of the original music for Metal Gear where you're sneaking around, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but hey, that's not a bad thing. It sets up perfectly for the lore. The lore is insane. The lore is fucking insane. If you're taking the time to read through some things, there is so much that you could learn from how most of the royalty really nails down the fact that they want to live in the old way because that's how they always were, to the legends of how some of the Blade Masters got their title. And that's not all. There's more lore outside of the game. Blade Master Leo is one that you encounter quite frequently, but something that is very evident is that there was a prequel to this game in the form of a webcomic, aptly named Needle Knight. And supposedly, these events took place 6 months before Verm ever encountered the Yellow God. So if webcomics are something that you're interested in, there's also an option for you. I'm sure at this point you guys are like, man, what is this guy yapping on about? I mean, yeah, it's a rat game, whatever. All I know is that there is a supreme rat in there, and I was so excited to see the fucker. I don't think I ever visited this one. Yo! Oh! It's fucking Drip King, no fucking way. I think I kept the spoilers to a minimum, at least when I actually got to that point. But in any case, if you're still around, you should just probably buy the game instead of listening to me. I'm pretty bad at retelling as a whole, but hey, that's how the cookie crumbles. 8 out of 10, absolutely rat-tastic, would recommend. That's it from me. Have a happy new year. I'm gonna go stream a bit before it becomes the 2nd of January. If you're not subscribed right now, you probably should. I think that's how most YouTubers do it. Anyway, if there is one thing you can actually do for me, please have an excellent day.